Durud Patriots, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to day 42 of Iran Revolution Live with your wonderful and amazing host, Armin Navabi.
And your wonderful and amazing host, Goldie Gamari.
Thank you so much, Armin. How are you?
Good. Just finished our Persian stream, so I'm ready to do our English stream.
Fantastic. Although I do have to leave early today, so you might be on your own for a little bit.
Okay.
I have to leave at 4 o'clock because I have a family plan at 4 o'clock Eastern. So I have a family plan at 5. So unfortunately,
Does that at all is that at all any of it at the same time that I'm doing the discussion group or no?
yes, it overlaps for the second hour of your discussion group.
Okay, so
I mean, what I can
let me
do
know.
is I could just end. I mean, we could just do a shorter live stream today, and then
Okay.
if there is any news or anything crazy like that, I could start a second live stream later tonight when I get back. We might have to end up doing that.
Okay, but whatever you decide, we're doing that. Like, if you want me to finish early or do 2 streams, you let me know, and we will do it. Yeah.
Up to you. Because I mean, if there's no news, I mean, I don't know what's going on, right? So we'll
Right,
play it
okay.
by ear, and we'll see what happens there. So
Okay. So
we
have a yep.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, we have some interesting news regarding the follow up on the negotiations, and we also have some news from inside Iran. So those are
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we go to that?
Oh, okay. Well, the main news the most interesting news from me, at least from my perspective, from inside Iran, is that a government official admitted that the regime was killing their own people. So, armed Islamic Republic forces was killing armed Islamic Republic forces, to get more people from the Islamic Republic to shoot the people, right? So they had some people going out, and this is an admission from an Islamic Republic's own part of Pezeshkian's government, admitted that there are people within the government that were pretending to be the people and going around and shooting at the Islamic Republic's own forces to encourage them more to shoot at the people. And again, guys, the source is the Islamic Republic itself, and we have that on record. If you want me to play it, actually. I don't know if you want me to.
Yeah, please. I think we
Okay.
should expose them. Absolutely.
Okay. Do you understand how significant that is? So basically, the Islamic Republic was saying, like, was worried about not being able to convince its own armed forces to shoot at the people. So to make the people look scarier, to make them actually start shooting, they were like, okay, let's make the people scarier. Let's get okay, let me actually just.
Well, it was also part of their tactic because they were claiming that the unarmed Iranian freedom fighters were terrorists, right? Because they were murdering Islamic regime people, but it was themselves. Guys, the Islamic regime has been doing false flags since before the Islamic Revolution. In fact, many of you are, I know one of the biggest questions many of you have is, how and why was the Islamic coup d'etat successful in the first place? That's because of the Cinema Rex false flag. I've spoken about Cinema Rex in previous live streams that are on my Iranians comment on documentaries playlist. But this is what they do. They've been doing this because this is how they think, right? This is how these Islamists think. They believe that they are allowed, their religion, their book tells them that they can murder anyone and everyone, and it's allowed if it's for the cause of Allah and for the path of like jihad. So here we go. Wow.
So, and the interesting, that's completely right. They always do this. The interesting thing about this one is that they have done a false flag, not for the sake of convincing the world, or not for the sake of convincing the rest of the Iranian people that there are terrorists among the people, but this was for convincing their own forces. Like, let me actually explain this because it's very important. This shows that the Islamic Republic propaganda doesn't even work among its own armed forces. Like, it's not enough for the Islamic Republic to go tell its armed forces, shoot at these people, they're terrorists, because they don't believe you. Their own armed forces don't believe them. So they actually have to do a false flag operation for their own armed forces to them, like, oh my God, these are terrorists, we should go kill them. That's the crazy part. This is a third audience that, like, yeah, it's I think people are like, know that, oh yeah, to make America, to make the world think that, oh, we were just killing terrorists, they do false flag to convince like the average Iranian people that, oh, we were just killing terrorists, they do all false flag operations. But the fact that to convince their own forces to shoot at people, they needed to do this, that shows that the Islamic Republic is losing control, to me at least, right? So let's listen to this.
واقعیت قضیه، ببینید حالا این بخش قضیه است که من باورم این که اخبار رسانه.
So this is Ali Shakuri Rad, I think. Shakuri Rad, yeah, I don't know, it's Shakuri or She or Sho, but Shakuri Rad, he's part of the Pezeshkian's government.
رسمی ما و گفتمان رسمی حاکمیت ما اینه که این موساد بوده و این تیمای پهلوی بوده این مقدار.
Yes.
Sorry, thank you.
حاکمیت ما اینه که.
Oh, thank you, Shakuri Rad. Sorry guys, when it comes to the fonts, they don't put the vowels on, so you don't know if it's Shakuri or Shokuri, but somebody is saying it's Shakuri Rad. Thank you so much in the chat.
رسانه رسمی ما و گفتمان رسمی حاکمیت ما اینه که این موساد بوده و این تیمای عملیاتی رضا پهلوی بوده این مقدار خشونت کرده. من این رو باور نمی‌کنم.
So this is a government official saying that the fact that the official position of our government is that the people who were killing were Mossad or basically agents from troublemaking agents from Pahlavi. He's saying, I don't believe that. I do not believe this official statement from our own government.
و فکر می‌کنم بسیاری از مردم ما هم اینو باور نمی‌کنن.
And I don't think that most of the people in Iran believe that. Most people in Iran do not believe that.
اگر ایران اینترنشنال دروغ میگه، اینا هم دروغ میگن.
If you say Iran International is lying, well, they think that our own government is lying as well. Like, they don't trust the narrative of the government either.
اگه اونا خشونت ورزیدن، اینا هم خشونت ورزیدن. به چه؟
Saying like if they committed violence, well, the government committed violence as well.
به استناد اینه که اصلا نهادهای امنیتی در ایران و در هر اعتراضی خشونت تزریق کردن تا اون خشونت رو بهانه بکنن برای سرکوب.
So he's saying because in every form of these protests that happens, the regime always injects violence into the protests so that the regime then can use the violence to suppress the protests. So whenever a protest starts, the regime brings people within the protest to cause violence and then uses that initial violence to commit a lot of violence. We're like, oh my God, there's violence. We have to go all in.
از ابتدا این بوده و تا حالا هم هست و روز به روز.
Like this was how they operated from the beginning, and this is how they do. Guys, this is significant because this is coming from the Islamic Republic itself, this narrative.
روزم بدتر شده.
And like until today, it has gotten even worse.
و این رو من اینجا اعلام میکنم که تو نشریه دانشگاه امام حسین یک دانشجوی فکر کنم دکترای انتظامی بوده. حالا من مقاله‌ش هم دارم، الان حضور ذهن ندارم. اونجا صراحتاً نوشته گفته یکی از روش‌های
So apparently there was a publication by a person from one of these people.
و این رو من اینجا اعلام میکنم که تو نشریه دانشگاه امام حسین یک دانشجوی فکر کنم دکترای انتظامی بوده.
So one of their doctorate students from one of their armed forces in the Imam Hussein University, basically part of the academic area from the Islamic Republic.
حالا من مقاله‌ش هم دارم. الان حضور.
So they actually published something. He's talking about a publication. He's referring to a publication.
اونجا صراحتاً نوشته گفته یکی از روش‌های سرکوب اغتشاشات کشته‌سازی از نیروهای خودیه.
So he's saying that they actually mentioned in that publication themselves that one way of suppressing their riots, as they call it, the riots is to create, engineer people who die from our own side. So every time you want to suppress the people, what you have to do is to get some people from the Islamic Republic side to die, to kill, from the armed forces to die, so that you could then start suppressing the riots.
و این کشته‌سازی از نیروهای خودی پروژه ایناست.
So and creating, engineering death from their own side is always their project.
برای سرکوب. یعنی باید نیروی
It's always the projects of the suppressing forces.
بسیجی کشته بشه. باید نیرو انتظامی کشته بشه.
So basically, Basijis must die. So the Islamic Republic believes that Basijis must die. Armed forces must die from their own side.
مسجد آتش زده بشه.
Some mosques should be burned.
امامزاده آتش زده بشه.
Some shrines should be burned.
قرآن سوزونده بشه.
Some Qurans should be burned.
همه این کارا بشه.
So this is the Islamic Republic also thinks some Qurans should be burned. Some mosques should be burned.
تا بشه اغتشاش رو از نظر اونها اغتشاش حالا چیزه اونو سرکوب بکنه.
So that they could suppress the riots.
بنابراین من اصلا باورم نیست.
So I'm here in the chat saying, who is this guy? This guy is from part of the government of Pezeshkian. He's part of the government. He's the part of the regime.
که باور نکردم که اونا میگن موساد و تیم‌های عملیاتی مثلا طرف مقابل این کارا رو کرده. من
So this is why he doesn't believe that this has anything to do with Mossad or
No, didn't he say like the IRGC forces, like they didn't believe, like, so when we told them that like Mossad was behind this, Mossad or CIA, they didn't believe us. انگار داره اونو میگه. داره میگه بهشون گفتیم که موساد پشتیبانی این حرکت‌ها بوده، باورمون نکردن.
Let's go back and see. Let me maybe erase.
ایناست برای سرکوب. یعنی باید نیروی بسیجی کشته بشه. باید نیرو انتظامی کشته بشه. مسجد آتش زده بشه. امامزاده آتش زده بشه. قرآن سوزونده بشه. همه این کارا بشه تا بشه اغتشاش رو از نظر اونها اغتشاش حالا چیزه اونو سرکوب بکنه. بنابراین من اصلا باورم نیست که باور نکردم.
میگه من باورم نیست.
هم که اونا میگن موساد و تیم‌های عملیاتی مثلا طرف مقابل این کارا رو کرده. من همونقدر که اینو میتونم باور کنم، بیشترش میتونم باور کنم که کسانی این کارا رو کردن که میخواستن اغتشاشات رو سرکوب کنن. به قول
Yeah, so he's saying this is all done so that they could suppress the riots.
بنابراین اینم واقعیت قضیه رو باید بدونیم و من از این متاسفم.
By the way, he's talking to other government officials. So he is a government official of Pezeshkian, and they're doing that in a meeting with other government officials. Like he's not talking to the opposition, he's not talking to people. This is a government meeting.
من فردای روز قضیه داماد آقای پزشکیان مادرشون مریض بود اومده بود بیمارستان، من بهش همین حرفا رو زدم.
So he said, like, he told, apparently he said this to Mr. Pezeshkian, to the President Pezeshkian as well.
گفتم دکتر، به نظر منم دکتر پزشکیان صادقانه حرف زد. ولی صادقانه چرا باور کرد گزارشایی که
He says this guy believes that Dr. Pezeshkian, basically the president, he was being honest. But he asks the president Pezeshkian, why are you believing these things? Like, why these narratives that they're telling you, that they're giving you from higher ups? Like, why are you just believing these things? Why are you believing all of the reports that is coming to you from the intelligence units? It's like like all of these intelligence units narratives, they're just lies. He's telling the president.
مردم واقعیت رو تو خیابونا لمس کردن، دیدن.
You think people saw the reality in the streets, like people believe the reality in the streets.
بعد رئیس جمهور میاد بر اساس نه حالا میخوام بگم که بر اساس من میخوام بگم که اون آتش زد به مردم.
So he's saying I watched I'm not gonna play the full version because the full versions he thinks Pezeshkian has been, so he himself is not like anti-regime. He's actually wants the Islamic Republic. This man wants the Islamic Republic to survive. But he's saying Pezeshkian basically he burned the people by basically coming out and repeating all of the reports that the intelligence units gave him. But one thing this man doesn't understand is that Pezeshkian worships Khamenei. So whatever Khamenei tells Pezeshkian, that is the truth. Pezeshkian is a person that if it's in the middle of the day, if it's noon, and Khamenei tells him that it's nighttime, Pezeshkian will believe. He wouldn't just say it's nighttime. He will start believing that it's nighttime. So that's the type of person Pezeshkian is. So that's why this guy doesn't understand his own president. But yeah.
Armin, could you play that one more time? Just so I want to put it, I want to run it through ChatGPT so that,
Okay.
and then if you could send me the video and then I'll translate it. But yeah, if you could just play
Sounds
that for
good.
me again without interruptions.
Okay.
واقعیت قضیه ببینید حالا این یه بخش قضیه است که من باورم این که اخبار رسانه رسمی ما و گفتمان رسمی حاکمیت ما اینه که این موساد بوده و این تیمای عملیاتی رضا پهلوی بوده این مقدار خشونت کرده، من این رو باور نمی کنم و فکر می کنم بسیاری از مردم ما هم اینو باور نمی کنن. اگر ایران اینترنشنال دروغ میگه اینا هم دروغ میگن. اگه اونا خشونت ورزیدن اینا هم خشونت ورزیدن. به چه استنادی؟ به استناد اینی که اصلا نهادهای امنیتی در ایران و در هر اعتراضی خشونت تزریق کردن تا اون خشونت رو بهانه بکنن برای سرکوب. از ابتدا این بوده و تا حالا هم هست و روز به روزم بدتر شده. و این رو من اینجا اعلام میکنم که تو نشریه دانشگاه امام حسین یک دانشجوی فکر کنم دکترای انتظامی بوده، حالا من مقالش هم دارم الان حضور ذهن ندارم، اونجا صراحتا نوشته گفته یکی از روش‌های سرکوب اغتشاشات کشته سازی از نیروهای خودیه و این کشته سازی از نیروهای خودی پروژه ایناست برای سرکوب. یعنی باید نیروی بسیجی کشته بشه، باید نیرو انتظامی کشته بشه، مسجد آتیش زده بشه، امامزاده آتیش زده بشه، قرآن سوزونده بشه، همه این کارا بشه تا بشه اغتشاش رو از نظر اونا اغتشاش حالا چیزه اونو سرکوب بکنه. بنابراین من اصلا باورم نیست که باور نکردم که اونا میگن موساد و تیم‌های عملیاتی مثلا اون طرف مقابل این کارا رو کرده. من همونقدر که اینو میتونم باور کنم بیشترش میتونم باور کنم که کسانی این کارا رو کردن که میخواستن اغتشاشات رو سرکوب کنن به قول خودشون. بنابراین اینم واقعیت قضیه رو باید بدونیم و من از این متاسفم. من فردای روز قضیه داماد آقای پزشکیان مادرشون مریض بود اومده بود بیمارستان، من بهش همین حرفا رو زدم. گفتم دکتر به نظر منم دکتر پزشکیان صادقانه حرف زد، ولی صادقانه چرا باور کرد گزارش‌هایی که نهادهای امنیتی گذاشتن جلوش و اینا پر از دروغه. مردم واقعیت رو تو خیابونا لمس کردن دیدن. بعد رئیس جمهور میاد بر اساس نه حالا میخوام بگم که بر اساس میخوام بگم که اون آتیش زد به مردم.
I do have to give a warning to people regarding this admission, because take that information in, but be careful of these reformist snakes, because you might wonder why would he come and admit that. These people are rats on a sinking ship. No insults to rats. But these people are trying to become the alternative once the hardliners lose power. They're trying to, at this moment, they're like, oh, let me come tell you the real information so that they could be the alternative to Khamenei and all of Khamenei supporters. They're trying to be like their fake opposition. So they're basically like, oh, guys, remember, I was the one who came out and gave you the correct information. I exposed the regime at that moment. So don't take that information in and keep that in mind, but don't trust these people. These people are just trying to sell themselves as the real opposition once this whole thing is over. So anybody who's in the regime, we don't trust them, even if they're giving us this sort of information. But yeah, go on, Goldie.
Thank you. And Armin, no, that's a very good point because these people are trying to find any way to survive. Okay, so here's the translation. Let's just use the AI. Let's see how good ChatGPT is.
English translation, clear, structured, and faithful. Open quote. The reality of the situation is this. The official media and the official narrative of the authorities claim that the violence was carried out by Mossad or by operational teams affiliated with Reza Pahlavi. I do not believe that. And I think many of our people do not believe it either. If Iran International is lying, then they are lying too. If one side committed violence, then the other side committed violence as well. On what basis do I say this? On the basis that security institutions in Iran, during every protest movement, have historically injected violence into the situation in order to use that violence as a pretext for repression. This has been the pattern from the very beginning, and it continues today, worse than ever. I'll give you an example. In a publication from Imam Hossein University, a doctoral-level law enforcement student, if I remember correctly, explicitly wrote that one of the methods of suppressing protests is the staged killing of their own forces. I have the article, though I don't have it in front of me right now. It states clearly that killing their own forces is part of the regime's project to justify repression. In other words, a Basij member must be killed, a police officer must be killed, a mosque must be set on fire, a shrine must be burned, even a Quran must be desecrated, so that they can then label the protests as violent and justify crushing them. Therefore, I simply do not believe the claim that Mossad or opposition operational teams carried out these acts. If anything, it is more believable to me that those who wanted to suppress the protests orchestrated such actions themselves. This is part of the reality we must understand, and I am deeply saddened by it. The day after the incident, when the son-in-law of Mr. Pezeshkian came to the hospital because his mother was ill, I told him these same things. I said, Doctor, in my opinion, Dr. Pezeshkian spoke sincerely. But why did he sincerely believe the reports placed in front of him by the security institutions? Those reports are full of lies. The people themselves experienced the reality in the streets. They saw it. And then the president speaks based on... No, what I want to say is this. Those fires were set against the people. Close quote.
That was pretty good. I've never used the ChatGPT voice feature before.
That was very Shakespeare reading like.
Yeah. Very, very. It's like it was like he was reading a story or something. Wow.
Right.
There you go. That's the translation. At some point later today or maybe tomorrow, guys, I'll add the translation to the video and I'll upload it to my YouTube so that you guys can share it. Share it.
Yes. I like how he changes his tones when he they're getting better. Like they, the parts that gets very dramatic.
Yeah.
He changes his tone to make it more. Yeah.
ChatGPT Premium. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I actually use I'm Gemini Premium instead.
Okay.
I have the Gemini. I'm betting I'm going all in on Google. I think Google is going to win the AI race. That's why I'm Gemini.
You know what? Gemini is probably better. I mean, I don't know. I started using ChatGPT a while ago, and then I just ended up getting a subscription. I actually haven't even. I need to look into AI and figure it all out. But
somebody likes my translation. Oh,
of course. Of course. Armin's translations are always the best because they're the most accurate, right? So,
but I like the Shakespeare reading of it. It was pretty intense.
Grok is pretty good too. Grok is also really good. Yeah. Okay. So the next thing that you wanted to.
Oh, the next thing, just a few things I wanted to share regarding the IDF Air Force commander and military intelligence chief have cleared contingency strike plans against Iran. Well, the Islamic Republic, meaning if a U.S. attack sparks wider regional escalation. So this is another sign that war is coming. So that's a big deal. That they wouldn't be doing these things if this is not going to be happening. So that's another sign that war is coming. President Trump's envoy, Kushner and Witkoff, toured the USS Abraham Lincoln with CENTCOM Commander Admiral Cooper. Admiral Cooper was the same commander, CENTCOM commander that was there in the negotiations with Arakchi. So they went to USS Abraham Lincoln on Saturday, according to two sources. The visit a day after Iran talk signals the US has military options if diplomacy fails. And then this video, I don't know if we played this video from Trump. I don't think we did on the plane. So let's listen to this one. I think this is new. I don't think maybe you played it when I was in the round.
No, this is from last night. I didn't. If this is from last night, I haven't played it.
Oh, okay. Let's play it then.
Mr. President, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner met with Iran's foreign minister today. You also had Brad Cooper there, the head of CENTCOM. A deal doesn't look like it's been reached yet. How long are you willing to wait?
A deal can be reached. Well, you have to get in position. We have plenty of time. If you remember Venezuela, we waited around for a while, and we're in no rush. We have, very good talks going with Iran. We have very good talks going with Russia and Ukraine. We're doing a lot of good talking, and I think we had the results today were with Iran. It was a meeting. We're going to meet again early next week, and they want to make a deal. Iran, as they should, want to make a deal. They know the consequences if they don't. If they don't make a deal, the consequences are very steep. So we'll see what happens. But they had a very good meeting with a very high representative of Iran, and we'll see how it all turns out.
So the part that says just like Venezuela is a good sign, right? Because it took a while for them to get ready for Venezuela, and then they did attack. One thing, guys, you have to remember that it's very important for the Islamic Republic to at least some parts of the Islamic Republic to think that there is a chance that there is going to be no attack. So if a lot of you get frustrated that Trump is like saying things that makes it seem like the attack is not going to happen, if the attack is inevitable, Trump should make sure that it doesn't look like it's going to happen 100%. And here's the reason. There needs to be a way for the Islamic Republic to think that there might be a way out, because if there is a high level of preparation that is needed, not just to attack the Islamic Republic, but also to protect all U.S. allies in the region, then if you were the Islamic Republic and you knew that a war is going to happen, no matter what the negotiations are, then you would be motivated to start the war earlier, right? So put yourself in the position of the Islamic Republic. If you think these people are going to fight me, they're going to come with attack me no matter what I do. The more I wait, the more military assets they're bringing to this war. So you then would be motivated to try to start the war early. If you were the Islamic Republic, you're like, then I shouldn't wait. The more I wait, the more assets are going to be in the region. Even if I lose, it's still better that I start earlier. So given that they seem to, Trump wants to make this a really effective war, that they seem to want to be testing everything they have. Guys, remember, this is a very big opportunity for the United States. This is key. The United States has developed some new weapons in the past 20 years that they have not tested in any war. And this is going to be a huge opportunity to test them. Just remember that weapons will never be able to show their true ability in tests. The only way to really gather information regarding how good your weapons are is in real war. So, and there's 20 years worth of weapons development that hasn't been tested. So other than Americans trying to prepare to make sure that they defend Israel, Jordan, Bahrain, UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and everyone else in the region, they also want to probably just basically use all their toys to see how they work. So they're bringing everything, right? Probably to try everything, right? to basically gather information about it. So this is why United States might take a while, might take well the amount of time that it has taken so far. That might be the reason. But again, if you want the war not to be started earlier by the Islamic Republic, you have to make the negotiations seem like they might work. Also, another point is that the Islamic Republic itself has many different groups within it that disagree with each other on it. And we know that the negotiations are important because there are some parts of the Islamic Republic that is really frustrated, and they are trying to get the rest of the Islamic Republic to actually start the war early. This might also be the reason, I'm not sure, but it might be the reason why they attacked 2 oil tankers and basically kidnapped all the crew, because some parts of the Islamic Republic is trying to start the war earlier, because the more you delay, the more military assets are going to be in the region. So those are some points. Let me know if you agree with them. One, let me see. So again, I think you all have noticed already, Tehran stuck to its refusal to end enrichment of nuclear fuel in talks between senior US and Iranian officials, but signaled a willingness to keep working towards diplomatic solutions. So guys, this doesn't seem to want to go anywhere at all. Like, it's right now with the situation, as at least with the current situation right now, there doesn't seem to be any room for an agreement on anything. So Marco Rubio said that they're going to be talking about 4 different things: nuclear, range of missiles, support for proxy groups, and the killing of the Iranian people. The Islamic Republic says that we're talking nuclear and nothing else. But even if we focus on nuclear, there doesn't seem to be any room for agreement. The United States is very, very adamant on making sure that there's 2 different issues with regards to nuclear. One, the already existing enriched uranium in Iran. 2, the other enrichment, the new enrichment uranium facilities that the Islamic Republic has created to continue enriching uranium. United States Trump has signaled that they are not going to accept anything other than the complete removal of all enriched uranium to a third country like Russia or Turkey. 1, 2, the complete removal of all enrichment facilities, basically a complete stop to enrichment of uranium inside Iran. And the Islamic Republic has said no to all of that, and Khamenei has signaled that there is no way that they're going to accept any of that, let alone reducing the range of their ballistic missiles, which is a huge red line for Khamenei that he would never agree to. This is also why you have to be mindful that Khamenei might be killed by the Islamic Republic at some point. And he might, because there are some parts of the Islamic Republic that want to survive. And given that how big of a red line this is for Khamenei, some people might eventually kill Khamenei and say he had a heart attack, just so that they could maybe be more flexible on these issues with America. But another problem is that even if United States agrees, Goldie, is it okay if I mute your mic for a second?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Even if the Islamic Republic agrees that, guys, just like the hypothetical, like an impossible hypothetical. Imagine the Islamic Republic under Khamenei comes out and says that, here's all our enriched uranium, and also we're going to stop enriching uranium. And then what's going to happen next? And Americans are like, oh, okay, thank you, bye bye. We're going to trust that you gave us everything you have, because you said so. And you said, oh, you're not going to enrich uranium? Do we have your word? Oh, of course we will believe you. Of course we will believe you. What reason do we have not to believe you? Let's just go. Guys, pack it up and leave. They said they're not going to enrich uranium. And this enriched uranium that they moved to Russia, they said that's all that they have. I guess mission accomplished. Goodbye. right? So obviously, there needs to be an enforcement mechanism, and there needs to be an observation process, which is a level of humiliation that the Islamic Republic would not accept. Like the Americans going into Iran and basically checking that, looking for enriched uranium to make sure that that was all of it, and also destroying all their facilities and checking everywhere, guys, because they have spread their enrichment uranium ability in so many different places in Iran, so deep in the ground, that somebody needs to go and check everything. And the IEEA is not good enough. They don't have any enforcement ability. They're going to be like, denied. So this whole pushing the Islamic Republic to do something, and they do it for a week, and then people leave, and then they go back to behaving like before. Like that's what Obama and Biden used to do. The idea that Trump is just going to be like, okay, they just said it, so let's go, and then the Islamic Republic goes back to their nature and do what they were doing anyways, doesn't seem like something that Trump will fall for. I mean, anything is possible, but it just seems very unlikely for Trump to just be like, well, they said it, and then we're gone, and then 2 months later, the Islamic Republic basically, hey, here's enriched uranium again, and supporting the proxies again, threatening people with their ballistic missiles again, and killing their own people again. It's just such an obvious loss for Trump if he does that. Like, it's such an embarrassment that I don't think there is any way that Trump will accept having that on his record. So that's why the negotiation, a lot of analysts, again, nothing is 100%, but this is why a lot of analysts say it doesn't seem like the negotiations are going anywhere, because what would be required is not just the Islamic Republic saying that, okay, we agree. They also, the enforcement of that and observing that has been done is even more impossible than signing some papers. That's why it just seems very, very unlikely. Anyways, I talked for too long.
No, you never talk for too long. That was excellent, actually. Excellent analysis. Always appreciate your input. No, you never talk for too long. I was grateful to get your perspective. I have a few things I wanted to add onto that as well. So this is another clip from President Trump that I want to bring up. This is also from last night, okay? And apparently here, President Trump says, the one thing right up front, no nuclear weapons. If we could have made that deal 2 years ago, we would have made that deal. But they weren't willing to do that. Now they are willing to do it. They're willing to do much more than they would have a year and a half ago. If they would have offered this deal originally when we first started, it would have been accepted immediately. So if you read between the lines here, what President Trump is saying is that maybe in the past they would have accepted this deal, but right now they're not even accepting the nuclear weapons because they want more than that, right? And that goes to his emergency order that he signed yesterday, which I think we should review again. But I just want to play this. And then, guys, I want to compare this with some of his statements that he made back in the summer before going after the Islamic regime's nuclear facilities.
Iran, is a deal that is acceptable that only covers with Iran? Is there a deal that only covers nuclear that would be acceptable to you? Because they just have nuclear. They don't want to have anything else. Like
that would be acceptable, but the one thing, and right up front, no nuclear weapons. If we could have made that deal 2 years ago, we would have made that deal, but they weren't willing to do that. Now they are willing to do it. So they're willing to do much more than they would have a year and a half ago, or even a year ago when don't forget, we've only been doing this for exactly 1 year. And we started with them a few months after the beginning of this term. This term has been amazing. But the results could surprise people. If they would have offered this deal originally when we first started, it would have been accepted immediately. We'll see what happens now.
So when he says we'll see what happens now, he's basically saying we're not accepting whatever deal, right? And this goes back to what Marco Rubio said a few days ago, where he said, just because we speak with someone doesn't mean that we are conceding. We're not making concessions. We're not even legitimizing their existence, right? So Marco Rubio made that very clear. He said that President Trump and the United States is willing to speak with anyone, adversary or ally, but just speaking, that doesn't mean that you're legitimizing their existence. It doesn't mean that you're going to cater to their demands. So again, I'm 100% convinced that these, negotiations, it's basically for terms of surrender by the Islamic regime. The Trump administration at this point has pretty much recognized and come to terms with the fact that as long as the Islamic regime remains in power, it will be a threat to Americans. There's a video clip from yesterday from Fox News that I want to share with you. But before we go to that, guys, so I want to share with you a few things that President Trump and Caroline Leavitt said back in the summer, leading up to when he struck Fordo. And the other thing I want to mention as well, guys, the nuclear attack on Fordo, that was on June 21, 2025. And there was no full moon over Iran at that time. So for the people in the chat who are commenting on, oh, whether or not there's going to be an attack based on, the full moon, I wouldn't count on that. Because guys, just go search Google, just ask Google if there was a full moon over Iran, or like a whatever. It was a waning crescent phase. Here you go. Right? So it was, sorry, not full moon, the new moon, whatever. Like when there's no moon, right? All dark. I meant the opposite of that. Sorry, I'm not into sorry, not full moon, the opposite, the dark moon, whatever it's called. The one where there's no moon in the sky, where there's, new moon. There you go. But, okay, so here, if I put in new moon instead, okay? So here you go. There was not a new moon over Iran on June 21, 2025. According to lunar data for 2025, the new moon in June occurs on June 25. So on June 21, when the attack against the Islamic regime's nuclear bases happened, there was 21% visibility. Okay, so don't rely too much on the lunar cycle here and say that it has to be on a new moon or whatever. Okay, so let me go to. Wait, where's that link?
This is why you come to Goldie. She double checks instead of just believing random stuff on the internet.
Yeah, wait, let me get the link here. All right, let me go to my first link. Okay. So now here's Caroline Leavitt. Okay. Here she is on June 19, 2025. Okay. And on June 19, 2025, when she's asked about whether or not the United States is going to get involved in going after, get involved in the conflict between Israel and the Islamic regime, on June 19, she says, President Trump will make a decision about Iran in the next 2 weeks following the negotiations. Okay, so keep this in mind. President Trump will make a decision about Iran in the next 2 weeks following negotiations. So back in the summer, they were using the negotiations to say that, well, the United States is going to negotiate with the Islamic regime first. And then if the negotiations don't work out, a decision will be made in the next 2 weeks.
I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today. I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future. I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today.
Okay. So on June 19, Carolyn said, what about Ramadan? Ramadan is irrelevant. Ramadan doesn't mean anything. Ramadan's irrelevant to the situation. So that's what she says on June 19. And then on, let me pull this up now. On June 20th, this is what President Trump said, okay? And this was posted by Rapid Response. So on June 20th, President Trump said, I'm giving them a period of time, and I would say 2 weeks would be the maximum. So he's referring to the Islamic regime, right?
Does Iran have 2 weeks, or could you strike before that? Are you essentially giving them a 2-week timeline?
I'm giving them a period of time. We're going to see what that period of time is, but I'm giving them a period of time. And I would say 2 weeks would be the maximum.
Does Iran have 2?
Okay. So on June 20th, President Trump confirmed that, he's going to give the Islamic regime, some time for the negotiations to go through to see, what happens there. Okay. That's June 20th. Now, look at this. On June 21, President Trump posted, we have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is a time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Do you guys see that? So on the 19th, Carolyn Levitt says, President Trump's going to make a decision within 2 weeks after the negotiations that may or may not take place. And then on the 20th, President Trump says, oh yeah, let's see what happens. We're in negotiations. We're going to give them some time, within 2 weeks. And then literally less than 24 hours later, he says that they destroyed the nuclear facilities. So now going back to what's happening right now, right? Going back to what's happening right now, of course, President Trump's not going to come out and say, oh yeah, we're planning on, going after the Islamic regime at this time, this day, this time. he's not going to lay out his cards. He's not going to say what he's doing. That's why if you go back to, to the way he's answering the questions, right? Let me pull that up again. The way that he's answering the question, again, guys, look at this. Listen, just listen to what he's saying here. Oh, wait.
Is a deal that is acceptable that only covers with Iran? Is there a deal that only covers nuclear that would be acceptable to you? Because they just have nuclear. They don't want to have anything else.
That would be acceptable, but the one thing, and right up front, no nuclear weapons. If we could have made that deal 2 years ago, we would have made that deal, but they weren't willing to do that. Now they are willing to do it. So they're willing to do much more than they would have a year and a half ago, or even a year ago when don't forget, we've only been doing this for exactly 1 year. And we started with them a few months after the beginning of this term. This term has been amazing. But the results could surprise people. If they would have offered this deal originally when we first started, it would have been accepted immediately. We'll see what happens now.
Mr. President, is there
There you go. He's pretty much using the exact same wording and messaging that he used back in the summer. So, and then on top of all this, remember the emergency order came out, right? And that emergency executive order that President Trump signed, okay, you guys are forgetting about that one. Let me pull it up again. Where is it? What? Wait, I can't find the link now. Let me pull it up here. Oh yeah, here we go. All right. So going to the emergency order, guys, that that President Trump signed, he signed this because the negotiations fell through. The negotiations fell through, right? He signed this because the negotiations didn't amount to anything. Guys, we don't celebrate Ramadan. Like, no one in Iran celebrates. Like, do you want me? Okay, guys, stop. Jeez. All right, let me pull up this video because everyone's like, for some reason, everyone's like focusing on Ramadan now. Armin, have you seen the video of like that Egyptian guy that that goes to Iran during like Ramadan, and then he's like surprised that like no one is
Yeah.
Have you seen that video?
No, I haven't, but we do have campaigns of haram eating on Ramadan just to make fun of Ramadan in Iran. So in when it comes Ramadan, a lot of Iranians campaign to eat like to eat haram things just to make fun of Ramadan. But yeah, let's look at this. I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, guys. So okay, so for everyone who keeps on asking about Ramadan, we don't celebrate it. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. So here's a video, and then I don't speak Arabic, but I had like an Arabic an Arab friend translate it for me, and basically the whole video is him just being completely shocked about the fact that you know, he was shocked to see Iranians weren't fasting. Actually, you know what? Let me chat GPT this as well, so that we can translate what he's saying.
We usually swear at Shia holy figures more during Ramadan. We have campaigns of doing un-Islamic things like drinking alcohol, pork. We don't have pork in Iran, but if we had pork, we would eat pork. Iranians outside of Iran eat more pork during Ramadan. And yeah, we usually we get videos from Iran, people like drinking alcohol while swearing at Shia holy figures. That's what we do on Ramadan.
All right. Okay, I'm going to play this for you guys, and then I'm going to chat GPT it at the same time so that we can translate what he's saying in Arabic to English afterwards. Okay.
وصلنا يا جدعان إيران في نهار رمضان. وصلت إيران مخصوص عشان أشوف الأجواء الرمضانية. رمضان في إيران عامل إزاي؟ إحنا كده في النهار بتاع رمضان. والله ده بجد. والناس هنا واقفة وبيشربوا سجاير إزاي؟ أنا مش فاهم. تعالوا النهارده أحكي لكم لما وصلت بداية من الطيارة والكرش الشق اللي جالي لما وصلت. أول ما ركبنا الطيارة طبعا الأذان أذن. أنا الوحيد اللي باكل الطيارة. خلونا نفتكر إن بالنسبة بقى هم بيصوموا رمضان ولا محدش بياكل غيره. أول ما ركبنا قال لك كله يلتزم باللبس الإسلامي. بس ما أعرفش بقى إيه بالنسبة للصيام إيه. هنشوف بقى ما إحنا ما راحش الناس. الأكل في الطيارة نزل في
non-Muslim himself.
على شكل البنتو بس قبل ما يدوها لها جربوا يا جدعان والله العظيم إحنا في رمضان.
Sorry, I didn't know you were translating.
Yeah, I literally said, I'm like chat GPT like it.
Sorry. Remove the part what I said.
No, I can't remember. I don't even know if because I gave the order to like translate from Arabic to English. So we also have a few Arab speakers in the chat, so they're gonna let us know, guys. Okay, so you have to let us know if the chat GPT translation is accurate here or not. So you guys have to give us the lowdown on this.
Can I just give us a short context to people, guys? In Ramadan, smoking is also not allowed during the fasting period. So that's why he was showing people smoking, because it's not just that you can't eat food, you can't smoke cigarettes you can't smoke anything during fasting time, and you also can't swim. I mean, you can't have your head underwater. So that's why he was showing people smoking.
Okay, so this is what he says according to Chat GPT. So this is an Egyptian Muslim guy who goes to Iran. He says, "Oh, you know what? Let's do read aloud. There we go."
Here is the English translation of the Arabic audio, cleaned up for clarity while preserving the meaning and tone. The guys in Iran are really bold. During Ramadan, in the middle of the day, I went to Iran specifically to see what the Ramadan atmosphere is like there. So this is during the daytime in Ramadan. Yes, seriously. And people here are standing around and smoking cigarettes. How is that? I don't understand. Let me explain. From the moment I arrived on the plane, the shock I felt when I got there. As soon as we boarded the plane, the call to prayer, Adhan, was made, announcing Maghrib. The idea is that they fast during Ramadan, but the story here is different. You don't really see the typical fasting crisis or intensity. At the moment of the call to prayer, the plane staff were very professional and calm. They served saffron rice and small portions of food in a simple way. The atmosphere felt different and, honestly, very elegant. I discovered that the streets in Tehran were empty. They told me it was because it was the first day of the new year, year 1403 for them. They have a holiday in the middle of Ramadan. Their new year begins from the Hijra, the Prophet's migration.
So that's Nowruz. So guys, we celebrate Nowruz, which is an ancient Persian, like Zoroastrian celebration. It's the first day of spring. So he was shocked that everyone, instead of like fasting, we were celebrating the Persian New Year instead. Yes, Armin.
So can I just explain? Like, this doesn't usually happen. So Persian calendar is a solar calendar. The Islamic Arabic calendar is a lunar calendar. So that's why the days rotate. Like, for example, our months stay in the one season and they don't move. Like, if we have a month in spring, it always stays in spring. But the Arabic Islamic months, because they're lunar, they keep moving around. Like, so for example, one year they're in the middle of summer and a couple of years later they're in the middle of winter. So they move. So this was a year when this guy visited in Iran, the Ramadan happened at the time that it was also Persian New Year. They collided. Most of the time they don't collide, but they collided. So that's why so many people were eating.
Right. Persian New Year is the first day of spring, the spring equinox. So he's like, yeah. I discovered this. So basically the streets were empty, not because people were at home fasting, but people were basically celebrating the Persian New Year. And, during the Persian New Year, we eat a lot of food. So let's continue.
Here is the English translation of the Arabic audio,
right, it's gonna start
cleaned up for clarity while preserving the meaning and tone.
Sorry, guys.
The guys in Iran are really bold. During Ramadan, in the middle of the day, I went to Iran specifically to see what the Ramadan atmosphere is like there. So this is during the daytime in Ramadan. Yes, seriously. And people here are standing around and smoking cigarettes. How is that? I don't understand. Let me explain. From the moment I arrived on the plane, the shock I felt when I got there. As soon as we boarded the plane, the call to prayer, Adhan, was made, announcing Maghrib. The idea is that they fast during Ramadan, but the story here is different. You don't really see the typical fasting crisis or intensity. At the moment of the call to prayer, the plane staff were very professional and calm. They served saffron rice and small portions of food in a simple way. The atmosphere felt different and, honestly, very elegant. I discovered that the streets in Tehran were empty. They told me it was because it was the first day of the new year, year 1403 for them. They have a holiday in the middle of Ramadan. Their new year begins from the Hijra, the Prophet's migration to Medina, but according to the solar calendar, not the lunar one. So every year, around mid-March, they have 2 weeks of vacation. Some people say this is a way to send a message to the government that it's not really an Islamic state. There are other things related to the government, but that's just some people's opinion, and God knows best. Of course, this video is just a personal experience. As for food, that's the most important thing. How does it work? The guy said, "This tastes good, try it." And people started eating. Before you leave, try it, guys. I swear. If you'd like, I can also give you a more polished subtitle-ready version for social media.
Oh, that's fine. All right, guys. So there you go. I hope that answers your questions about whether or not Ramadan is significant. It's literally not significant whatsoever. We don't celebrate Ramadan. Like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We celebrate the Persian New Year instead.
Yeah. So this Ramadan is one of the 12 months of the lunar Islamic calendar. And this is why you notice that sometimes Ramadan is in summer and sometimes it's in winter, because it moves around. It doesn't make any sense, by the way. Yeah. What's the point of a calendar if the months are not the same season every year?
Anyway, whatever. I mean, that's not our problem. Not our problem. It's totally irrelevant to us. that's something that they're going to have to figure out on their own. But okay, so guys, so I hope that answers your questions about Ramadan. So, you can forget about that analysis. Literally, we Iranians don't care. If America attacks, so I mean, I hope America attacks sooner rather than later. And if they attack during Ramadan, that's even better. Why not? Stick it to the Islamic regime where it hurts.
By the way, I do think we have the Persians have we Iranians have the best calendar. Persians, Kurds, Tajiks, because our Nowruz, our New Year, starts when nature wakes up. Like, it makes sense. Like, it's the New Year and everything is coming alive, right? So I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, it's a spring.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, we have the best calendar.
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah. And we don't need leap years either, because you guys in the Gregorian calendar, you need a leap year. Every 4 years you need an extra day, so it lines up. But our calendar doesn't. Our calendar is just
perfect.
Perfect. Our calendar is perfect because it's based on the sun.
Yeah, and it's actually it's apparently a mathematical, a miracle for its time. Like, people who analyzed the way our calendar was designed and set, it showed a lot of mastery over math and also astronomy. I always try to make sure that I don't mix the woo-woo one, astrology, with the proper one. Yeah, astronomy, right? Astrology is the woo-woo one.
Yeah, astrology is the weird one. The astrology is the one where it's like, oh, like what's your sign and what is your, Guys, listen, all calendars are special. We're teasing. All calendars are
you're all great. We're just better. It's all good.
Oh, Armin, stop that.
Oh, okay.
now you're like trolling people with that. Now people are going on about like which calendar is better. Oh my god, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently we have leap years too. All right, there you go. I learned something new. All right, so guys, going back to the main topic, right? So going back to the main topic, now I've pretty much demonstrated to you, okay, I've shown you that President Trump has sorry, that's like an astrology thing, right? So honestly, at this point, just like read some tea leaves too. Okay, so going back to what President Trump is saying and doing, this is why we should not take his statement to the T, because again, 2 days before the United States went after Fordo and the Islamic regime's nuclear facilities, Caroline Leavitt said that the president is going to make a decision within 2 weeks after the negotiations, right? So literally, guys, remember, negotiations were ongoing. Negotiations were supposedly ongoing while President Trump sent the B-2s that went boom, boom. Okay? So we're kind of seeing the same situation here, right? But even back in the summer, the negotiations were ongoing while the B-2s flew over, went boom, boom, and none of us, no one knew about it, right? No flight tracker, no OSINT account, no war expert, no, I don't know, military this, analyst that. No one even found out about the fact that the B-2s had gone into occupied Iran and boom boomed the nuclear facilities until President Trump himself announced it on Truth Social, right? So again, right, everyone was looking at the flight trackers, everyone was looking at, I don't know, the radars, people were looking at, I don't know, the moon's phases, whatever. Guys, you can look at whatever it is. You can listen to whoever, but ultimately at the end of the day, like, the United States military is so powerful, no one's going to know what's happening until it's already happened, right? No one's going to be able to track, no one's going to be able to predict, no one's going to be able to figure it out or find out, right? However, right? The language and the way that President Trump is speaking right now, very similar to what was happening back in the summer, right before the attack. Okay. And then there's one other thing. Was it this one? No. Wait, let me see if I can find it here. There was something else that I wanted to share. I think I might have bookmarked that. Let me bring up my bookmarks here. Right. Okay. So, and then as soon as as soon as President Trump, so again, let me go back to this one because I want to share this. I want, to see I want you guys to see the comparison, because this is like, literally politics 101, okay? Politics 101. And President Trump said in one of the press conferences in the White House, in the Oval Office that we watched, I think it was last week, when a reporter was asking him what the plans are, he said, I'm not going to reveal my plans. So, okay, so here's President Trump again. President Trump on June 20th.
Does Iran have 2 weeks, or could you strike before that? Are you essentially giving them a 2-week timeline?
I'm giving them a period of time. We're going to see what that period of time is, but I'm giving them a period of time. And I would say 2 weeks would be the maximum.
Does Iran have...
Okay, so 2 weeks would be the maximum. And then 24 hours later...
The strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Right. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of the hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services at this capacity. I hope that's so. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Okay, so guys, again, this is what we're building up to. This is what we're building up to again, based on what I'm seeing, right? We're building up to that. So, and then this is also really important here, guys. Finally, you cannot underestimate the importance of the emergency order, right? This came out last night. This emergency order, okay, this emergency order. Oh, welcome, Petito. We'll get to you one moment. Guys, this emergency order came out precisely because the negotiations fell through, and precisely because President Trump is getting ready to attack, right? So he imposed additional tariffs But on top of that, wait, this isn't the right one. Yeah, I know this is the right one. Wait, this isn't the right one. Wait, let me get the right one here. The right link. Because there was two, right? Let me pull up the correct one. Where'd it go? Here we go. It's this one. It's this one. Not this one. It's fact sheet, right? The fact sheet. President Donald J. Trump addresses threats to the United States by the government of Iran. So, confronting the Iranian regime. Today, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order reaffirming the ongoing national emergency with respect to Iran. And then, he imposed tariffs, which is fine. That the tariff part, that's not new because he already spoke about that. But this part was new, right? Remember this part below where he's like, countering Iran's malign influence. The president is holding Iran accountable for its pursuit of nuclear capabilities, support for terrorism, ballistic missile development, and regional destabilization that endanger American security allies and interests, right? So, and then remember everyone was, again, I'm going to repeat this. Everyone was saying, why did President Trump think that people aren't being murdered? In this, in this fact sheet, they're admitting, they're not admitting, like they're acknowledging that they know, right? So the regime brutally represses its own people, killing thousands of protesters, denying human rights, and using violence to maintain power while spreading extremism and undermining U.S. efforts for peace and stability. These actions constitute a continuing, unusual, and extraordinary threat to the United States, requiring a sustained and intensified response, right? So right here in the fact sheet, they're pretty much admitting that this behavior that they've seen, and even the behavior in the negotiations has justified for the United States to have not only a sustained response, but to intensify the response to protect American citizens, allies, and interests. And then he continues on to say, putting America first, and he speaks about that as well. So guys, again, what I'm trying to say here is that these negotiations, so-called negotiations, if anything, were a way for the United States to justify military attack, because these negotiations basically proved that you cannot negotiate with these people. There's no deal to be made with them. And, again, based on all the videos I've shown you previously from President Trump, the actions and the statements and the words, it's lining up exactly to, how he went after the regime back in the summer. Except I think this time it's going to be even bigger. Welcome, Petite Toe.
Hi there.
How are you?
How are you tonight or today?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. And I'm joined you here because this is the third day after 30 days after the Prince called for people, and I have something to share with you.
Okay, yes, please share with us.
We should also talk about this at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about the rallies for sure. Definitely, we have to speak about them again. The Global Day of Action, like I've spoken about that. There's also a video from his communications account that I've been meaning to share as well. Once we were done the sort of President Trump military, geopolitical analysis.
Okay. Hatipta, is this what you wanted to talk about?
بله، در واقع میخوام به همین موضوع برسم، ولی از قبلترش هم یه موضوعی رو آماده کردم که حالا با کمک همدیگه اگه بتونیم به مخاطبا بگیم، خب مفهوم سخنران برسونیم، خیلی خوشحال میشم. موضوع اصلی هم که در واقع محوریت صحبتم همزمان با اینکه توضیح میدم، خیلی از همین پروپاگاندای اطراف شاهزاده رو خنثی میکنه. حالا کلی از صحبت‌ها و چیزایی که توی این مدت رسانه‌های مقابل گفتن و من سعی کردم جمع بکنم و یه جواب کلی به خصوص برای همین ماهگردی که الان هستیم بذارم. یعنی یه جوری هم بتونیم یادآوری کنیم چه مسیری اومدیم، هم در کنارش هم اصلاح بکنیم یه سری دیدای اشتباهی که پروژکت شده توی این مسیر روی بقیه.
Absolutely. So Potipto wants to talk about the last 30 days. So Potipto, actually, that's a very good segue into this video that I wanted to show, because King Reza Pahlavi's communications account on X came out with this video about, 3 hours ago. And like you said, today is the 30th day since he called for people to take to the streets. So we're getting to the 1 month anniversary, I guess, of January 8th, right? So this, revolution has now been going on, for long, but, his official call on January 8th going out. And so his team made this. So why don't I play this video, Potipto, and then we'll get into your thoughts and analysis. Okay.
First and at
خب
بذارین ویدیو رو پلی بکنم، بعد میریم به صحبتات. You can see on the map, guys, each location, you see a different province highlighted. Right? So guys, you can see the red, that's a different province. So the video is going through literally every single part of the country where there's a demonstration happening, and you can see the province highlighted.
امروز 19 دی شهر سرندج منطقه نایسر شماری از جمعیت شعار مرگ بر خامنه ای زنده باد جاوید شاه.
There you go. I'll put the link to the video in the chats. For those of you who are on my Discord channel, you'll also find the link to this video in the, what's the channel called? The channel is called Pahlavi Official Updates. So if you go to Pahlavi Official Updates, that's where you'll see all the accounts that are associated with His Royal Highness, King Reza Pahlavi. So his own account, the Empress's account, his comms account. I also have Nufti there, and I have Saeed Qasemi Najad. So these are all people who are part of the, it's either, all of these accounts are affiliated with King Reza Pahlavi. So if you go to the Discord server, you'll see it there as well. But that was fantastic because it really visualizes, right? It really gives people a better understanding of all the different cities and provinces. Armin?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think we're going to go to Patipto now.
Yes.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. I do, but before we go to Patipto, I do have to leave pretty soon to our discussion group because I don't want to interrupt Patipto when he's speaking. Should I just tell people about it now?
Yeah, tell people about it. Yeah.
All right. So guys, if you want to hear more of my analysis of what's going on, or just ask me questions regarding, the war, especially if you have questions regarding Prince Reza Pahlavi and also the internal politics of the Islamic Republic, and also, the Iranians' attitudes towards Israel and United States. So anything Pahlavi related, Iran related, Israel related, geopolitics and the military related, if you want to come ask me there, come to the discussion group. I'm going to go there right now. The link right now is in the chat, and I will also pin it to on our channel, on the Atheist Republic channel. So yeah, so the link is in the chat, so you could come over there. I'm going to start the discussion there in about 10 minutes. Once you come into the group, it's pretty easy to find where the discussion call is happening. Just come in there. You don't have to speak if you don't want to. You could just listen, or you could come in. You could open your camera, or you could close it, or you could open your mic if you want to speak and ask a question. but yeah, it's a really good group for discussions regarding politics. So I hope I see you guys there in 10 minutes. And
Thank you,
Amazrel
Armin.
Khai, Javid Shah.
Armin, I have to end the live stream at 4 o'clock, so I probably won't see you. You know, so I'll leave it up to you if you want to come back an hour early to like continue sharing the news on the live stream, or if you're just gonna
or if you decide you want to do a second live stream, let me know, because I do I am very eager to go over the song, the new Fadoi song, and explain every single line to people if we have time at some point for that, because that's actually, I think it's very educational, because there's a lot of symbolism regarding Ferdowsi, a lot of symbolism regarding stuff that happened on the ground in Iran, and all of that. So if you ever have time for that, let me know.
I mean, I'll see what time I come back tonight.
Okay.
And not too late, I might start a second live stream. We'll see, because there's still a lot to go over, and you know, all the rally footage as well. But all right, thank you.
We got a very sweet. We got a. Can we? I just want to read this one because before we go, because it's a very sweet thing. We all pitched in to donate. We support you best we can because you expect us. Thank you, and you give us hope in life that seems to be lacking in hope. Love and support from this homeless group in. I don't know. California. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for your support, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. I'm Israel Khai, Javid Shah, and Payande Iran. Love you, Patipto. Love you, Goldie. See you guys tomorrow.
See you later. Bye.
Love you, Armin. پیروز باشی.
Thank you. That's sweet.
All right, let me just pull up the chat here. All right, Patipto, welcome. بفرمایید. تقریبا نیم ساعت تا 45 دقیقه وقت داریم تا باید لایو استریم رو ببندم. متاسفانه امروز شما عذرخواهی میکنم، شرمنده، برنامه شخصی دارم. اولین برنامه شخصیم بعد از نزدیک 5-6 هفته، ولی خب سعی میکنم دوباره بعد یه لایو استریم دیگه باز بکنم اگه تونستم. بفرمایید.
قبل از همه چی ممنونم از شما به خاطر پایداری که تو تمام این مدت داشتی و خب کاری که داری میکنی برای خیلیا تا موقعی که از نزدیک نخوان تجربه کنن. حجم فشار و استرس و پیچیدگیش قابل درک نیست. برای من به شخصه کار بسیار با ارزشمندیه و امیدوارم که همچنان با قدرت ادامه بدی.
سپاسگزار.
اما در ادامه این ویدیویی که در واقع اوکی من شروع بکنم؟
آره بفرمایید، بعد ادامه بدین.
چون روی اسکرینتون تو جت بود. این ویدیویی که گذاشتین در واقع به نظرم پرفکت تایمینگ بود. خیلی جالب بود، با اینکه من تو ذهنم این بود که امشب بیام اینو بگم و خب اکانت رسمی شاهزاده هم همچین موضوعی رو داره بهش اشاره میکنه. ولی دوست دارم با دوستایی که همراه ما هستن از تمام دنیا خیلی مستقیم صحبت بکنم. اکثرشون در واقع از بعد از فراخوان شاهزاده همراه ما شدن و اکثرشون در واقع از بعد از خبر کشتار مردم احساس مسئولیت کردن و سراغ کمک به ایران اومدن و حمایت خودشون از تمام دنیا به ما گفتن که ما از صمیم قلب از همشون ممنون هستیم بابت تمام تلاش و مهری که از هر جای دنیا به ما و انقلاب شیر و خورشید دادن. اما میخوام که بگم این انقلاب شیر و خورشید از 8 ژانویه شروع نشد. همونجوری که این کانتر استریم شما داره میگه 42 روز ازش گذشته و 12 روز قبل از 18 دی بود. 18 دی که امروز دقیقاً 1 ماه ازش گذشته و فردا برای خیلیا قرار متفاوت باشه، فردای 18 دی. ولی اتفاق این بود که مردم از قلب تهران تا از بازار تهران تا دورترین نقطه ها و در واقع خلوتترین و کوچکترین شهرها قبل از فراخوان شاهزاده بیرون اومدن، گلوله خوردن، بایکوت شدن و در واقع تحت تعقیب قرار گرفتن. کاری که شاهزاده کرد، فراخوانی که شاهزاده در 18 دی داد، یک اکت حمایتی بود از کسایی که در حال حاضر داشتن در تمام ایران سرکوب می‌شدن. شاهزاده مردم ایران رو از داخل ایران دعوت کرد که از تمام هموطنهای خودشون حمایت بکنن، حالا با حضور در خیابون، با همکاری ملی، با فشار گذاشتن روی دستگاه سرکوب. پس این خیلی نکته مهمیه که بدونیم فراخوان 18 دی ناشی از حضور مردم و صدا کردن پهلوی توسط مردم بود، نه اینکه به شکل یک فرمان نشون داده بشه یا به شکل یک برنامه نشون داده بشه که پروپاگاندا داره سعی میکنه مسئولیت بیرون اومدن و کشته شدن مردم رو به گردن پهلوی بذاره. اینو میخواین ترجمه بکنین بعد ادامه‌اش بگیم.
چشم.
چشمتون میبرد.
Okay, we're good, guys. We're going to use Potipto's English Shakespearean voice to translate. Potipto, I figured out a new feature on ChatGPT.
Oh wow!
You're going to be pleasantly surprised. So I don't have to read your messages anymore because now ChatGPT can read it. And you apparently have a very sophisticated Shakespearean voice in English. So let's go.
English translation, clear, structured, and faithful. Open quote. First of all, thank you for your resilience throughout all of this and for the work you're doing. For many people, unless they experience it firsthand, it's impossible to understand the level of pressure, stress, and complexity involved. For me personally, what you're doing is extremely valuable, and I truly hope you continue with strength.
Thank you.
Now, regarding the video you posted, yes, let me continue. The timing of it was perfect. It was very interesting because I was also planning to speak about this tonight, and the Prince's official account has also referenced this topic. But I want to speak very directly to the friends who have joined us from all over the world. Many of them have been with us since the Prince's call. Many of them felt a sense of responsibility after hearing about the killings and tried to support Iran from wherever they are. And from the bottom of our hearts, we thank them for the support, effort, and love they have shown from around the world toward us and toward this revolution. However, I want to make something clear. This revolution did not begin on January 8th. As your counterstream indicates, it has been going on for 42 days. And 12 nights before the 18th of day, today marks exactly 1 month since the 18th of day, and tomorrow may feel different for many people. The day after the 18th. What actually happened was this. People from the heart of Tehran, from the Tehran Bazaar to the most remote, smallest and quietest towns, were already out in the streets before the Prince's call. They were shot at. They were boycotted. They were pursued. The call issued by the Prince on the 18th of day was an act of support, a gesture of solidarity with people who were already being suppressed across Iran. The Prince invited Iranians inside the country to support one another, through presence in the streets, through national cooperation, and by applying pressure to the repression apparatus. This is a very important point to understand. The call of the 18th of DA was the result of people already being in the streets and calling out to Pahlavi, not a command from above, not a pre-designed program as propaganda is trying to frame it. The regime is trying to shift responsibility for people coming out and being killed onto Pahlavi. That narrative must be corrected and addressed carefully. Close quote.
So, guys, you've already heard this narrative in the English media interviews that Armin and I have shared with you, right? So, when you have like some of these reporters who are so-called reporters and journalists who are asking King Reza Pahlavi if he bears any responsibility for the murders by the Islamic regime, right? So that's a point Potipto is making, because that narrative has been that's being pushed out by the leftists, by the communists, by the Islamic regime itself as well, to try and blame King Reza Pahlavi for Khamenei and Muslim Nazis mass slaughtering Iranians. But what Potipto was saying is that this, when King Reza Pahlavi said to come out onto the streets, that wasn't a command from above. King Reza Pahlavi saw the Iranian people, saw the demonstration, saw that they were calling for his name. And that's why he's always saying, at your call, I'm stepping forward. And now that we have a leader, now we're more organized and we're more united and ever. So than ever. All right, Petito, please continue.
در واقع بخوام برای تمام دوستا به صورت خلاصه چیزی که بر ما گذشت رو بگم، این بود که ما ملتی بودیم که مدت‌ها سرکوب شدیم، مدت‌ها کشته شدیم، بارها بیرون اومدیم، بارها تلاش کردیم برای اینکه سرنوشت خودمون رو تغییر بدیم، ولی رژیمی که باهاش می‌جنگیدیم، رژیمی که ایران رو اشغال کرده بود، ریشه توی در واقع تاریک‌ترین و کثیف‌ترین در واقع قدرت‌های جهان داشته و داره، همونجوری که امروزی که می‌بینید چه کسایی سفارایی کردن جلوی مردم ایران. پس نتیجه این تلاش‌ها همیشه یا بی نتیجه میموند یا توسط خیلی آدمای معلوم الحالی که الان بیشتر میشناسیدشون به ابتذال کشیده میشد. یعنی پلن همیشگی این بود که مردم خشمگین بشن، خشم مردم توی خیابون تخلیه بشه و این خشم مقدس توسط پروپاگاندا و رژیم و بازوهاش تبدیل به یک موضوع مبتذل بشه که به قول خودشون سرپوش گذاشتن و خوابوندنش. اما این بار وقتی که خیلی عقب‌تر توی در واقع نوروز 1404 مردم اومدن بیرون و خاندان پهلوی رو صدا کردن، شاهزاده رو صدا کردن و در جای جای ایران چندین بار این اتفاق تکرار شد و تبدیل شد به یک فرصتی برای اینکه هر باری که مردم تحت هر فشاری بودن ازش استفاده بکنن. خلاصه این اتفاقها رسید به در واقع اول دی ماه، هفته اول دی ماه و اون فشارهای اقتصادی که اومد و طبق معمول هم حکومت براش برنامه داشت. دنبال این بود که کاسب‌ها و بازاری‌ها رو بیاره توی خیابون و با یک حالا تغییر اقتصادی کوچیک، با یه ریزش جزئی قیمت دلار، طبق معمول خشم مردم رو در واقع هایجک بکنه و مسیر رو به نفع خودش بچرخونه. اما خب اوضاع از دستش خارج شد و طی 12 روز بیش از 100 نقطه، حالا آمار دقیق ندارم، ولی بیش از 100 نقطه در تمام ایران مردم بیرون اومدن. ما ایلام رو داشتیم، ملک شاهی رو داشتیم، کوهدشت رو داشتیم، کرمانشاه رو داشتیم، شهرهای خیلی زیاد و متفاوتی در جای ایران مردم اومدن بیرون، اعتراض کردن. دهلوران رو داشتیم که شهر رو تونستن بگیرن بدون در واقع فراخوان کلی، شهر رو تونستن بگیرن، در واقع کشته شدن. یک هفته چندین روز توی سرکوب شدید بودن، خبرهای بیرون نمی اومد. میخوام بگم که تمام اتفاقایی که الان به صورت کلی شاهدش هستیم تا قبل از فراخوان شاهزاده هم توی شهرها میافتاد، فقط رسانه‌ای نمیشد. و شاهزاده در پاسخ به در واقع برای نجات مردم ایران در سرتاسر ایران این حرکت هوشمندانه رو کرد که همه رو با هم به یک جهت کرد و به همه به صورت در واقع برنامه مشخص داد. اولین برنامه مشخصش هم فراخوان 18 دی بود که تو همون فراخوان هم گفت برنامه‌های بعدی رو بر اساس عملکرد شما میگم که ما الان در واقع توی فازهای بعدی این انقلاب هستیم. اینو حالا ترجمه بکنیم بعد بریم بعدش.
I'm just waiting for it to update and then, all right, here we go. And while this is reading, I'll be right back.
English translation. Clear, structured, and faithful. Open quote. If I want to summarize for everyone what we have gone through, it is this. We are a nation that has been suppressed for a long time. We have been killed repeatedly. We have come out into the streets many times. We have tried again and again to change our destiny. But the regime we have been fighting, the regime that has occupied Iran, has had roots in some of the darkest and dirtiest global power structures. And as you can see today, look at who is lining up against the people of Iran. Because of that, our efforts either ended in failure or were hijacked and degraded by certain well-known figures, people you now recognize more clearly than before. The consistent pattern was this: the people would become angry, their anger would be released in the streets, and then that righteous anger would be manipulated by propaganda and the regime's machinery, destabilized, reframed, and ultimately crushed and put back to sleep. But this time was different. Earlier, during Nowruz 1404, people came into the streets and called out the Pahlavi family. They called out the prince. This happened repeatedly across different parts of Iran. It became an opportunity, a reference point that people returned to whenever they were under pressure. These events continued and led into early day, the first week of day, when severe economic pressures hit. As usual, the regime had a plan. It aimed to bring shopkeepers and bazaar merchants into the streets, then calm things down with a small economic adjustment, perhaps a slight drop in the dollar exchange rate, to hijack public anger and redirect it in its own favor. But this time, the situation slipped out of their control. Over 12 days, more than 100 locations across Iran saw people come out into the streets. I don't have exact numbers, but it was widespread. We saw Ilam, we saw Malek Shahi, we saw Kudasht, we saw Kermanshah. Many different cities across Iran rose up and protested. Tehran itself experienced moments where people effectively took control of parts of the city without any formal call being issued. People were killed. For days, nearly a week in some cases, there was intense repression and little to no news came out. The point I want to make is this: everything we are witnessing today was already happening before the prince's call. It simply wasn't being covered or amplified. The prince's call was a strategic response, intended to protect and support the people of Iran across the country. It unified scattered uprisings into a single direction and gave them a clear framework. The first clear step he outlined was the call of the 18th of day. And even in that call, he said that the next steps would depend on the people's performance and response. And now we are in the subsequent phases of this revolution. Let's analyze this, and then we can continue the discussion. Close quote.
Potipto, do you like your voice or should I change it?
Oh, that's perfect. In my opinion, that's perfect.
Okay, there we go. Potipto approves of the voice, so we're not changing it. All right, بفرمایید.
مهمتر از صدا اون لحنیه که میگه و خب لحن خیلی حرفه‌ایه. خب مسئله از این قرار بود که روز 18 دی اومد. در واقع ما دقیقاً 30 روز بعد از اون فراخوان هستیم. روزی که خیلی‌ها نتونستن فرداشو ببینن. حالا چه تو بدنه رژیم، چه جاویدنامه‌ای که فداکارانه توی خیابون جونشون رو فدا کردن. برای همین من فکر میکنم این روز توی تاریخ ایران ابدی شد. ولی چند روز قبل و چند روز بعدش رو لازمه ما با هم بررسی بکنیم. از 2-3 روز قبل که شاهزاده فراخوان رو داد، برای اولین بار فکر میکنم توی ایران یه احساس همدلی به وجود اومد که من به شخصه خیلی‌ها میشنیدم اینو. یعنی ساده بخوام بگم همه اینجوری بودن که خب خدا رو شکر بالاخره یک نفری مسئولیت ما رو گردن گرفت. و این یک نقطه عطفی بود توی انقلاب ایران، در تاریخ انقلاب ملی مردم ایران، که مردم ایران برای اولین بار احساس کردن که یک نفر به صورت واقعی صدای اونها خواهد بود، یک نفر که بتونن بهش تکیه بکنن، یک نفری که قرار نباشه به این شک بکنن که از کجا اومده، چه پیشینه‌ای داره و قراره چه نقشه‌ای براشون بریزه. و این قدرتی بود که شاهزاده رضا پهلوی به مردم داد و این فرهنگی بود که بین مردم بعد از اون تاریخ جا افتاد و مهمترین اثرش هم همه به چشم خودشون دیدن. اما 18 دی اومد، 19 دی اومد و چند روز بعدش هم که اینترنت قطع بود و کشتار و سلاخی که توی ایران و خیابون‌های تهران راه افتاد انقدر وسیع و گسترده بود که ما همین امروز هم هنوز یک فرکشنی از واقعیت و اسم و کسایی که کشته شدن رو می‌دونیم. مایی که حتی داخل ایران داریم سعی می‌کنیم اسما رو پیدا بکنیم. حالا نتیجه این حرفا چیه؟ اصلا چرا اینا همه رو مطرح کردم براتون؟ میخوام بگم که امروز که ما داریم صحبت میکنیم یه عده میگن 20,000 نفر کشته شده. صدا سیما جمهوری اسلامی میگه که نه 3,000 نفر بیشتر نبودن. یه عده میگن 60,000 نفر کشته شده. یه عده میگن نه بابا 300 نفر بیشتر نبودن. یه عده میگن اینا همه رو خامنه‌ای و سربازا و مزدوراش کشتن. در طرف مقابل جمهوری اسلامی میگه که به فرمان شاهزاده اومدن بیرون، پس شاهزاده مسئوله. از اون بدتر و از اون وقیح‌تر افرادی هستن که در خارج از ایران تریبون دارن و خودشون رو فعال و مبارز آزادیخواه میدونن، ولی از این تریبون به اون تریبون دارن شاهزاده رو سرزنش میکنن که شما چی شد همکاری ملیت، چی شد فلان چیزی که قول داده بودی، چی شد به آن چیزی که قول داده بودی. انگار نه انگار که جمهوری اسلامی آردی داشت مردم رو میکشت و این مردم کشته شده بودن قبل از اینکه بیان توی خیابون، با سرنوشتی که ازشون گرفته شده، با فشار اقتصادی که ازشون گرفته شده بود. پس میخوام چشمتون رو باز بکنید و از نقطه سوم شخص به اخبار، به مسیر اخبار نگاه بکنید. ببینید که کدوم همجهت با واقعیت مردمه و کدوم داره صدایی که مردم رو میگن تکرار میکنه و کدوم داره سعی میکنه در نقش یک آدم خیرخواه یا آدم زرنگ خیلی راحت نراتیو رو عوض بکنه و جای قاتل رو با مقتول عوض بکنه. این وظیفه ما و شماست امروز که نسبت به این موضوع آگاه باشیم و وظیفه مهمتری که داریم اینه که تمام اسمها و صورتها و صداهایی که در این مسیر همراه جمهوری اسلامی بودن رو فراموش نکنیم. قرار نیست اینها بیان به جاویدنامه‌های ما دهنکجی بکنن و برای خودشون دوباره سرشون رو بندازن تو زندگیشون، برن بگن ما حواسمون نبود، اشتباه کردیم، متاسفیم و گول خوردیم و اینجور داستانا. پرده افتاده و همه چیز برای ما شفافه. امروزی که ما هستیم و شما هستیم مسیر مشخصه. قرار نیستش که بین ما و دریای خونی که بین ما رژیم فاصله هست مسیر برگشتی باشه. حالا شما دوستای عزیزی که در سرتاسر دنیا صدای منو میشنوید، من بارها ازتون خواهش کردم که در دام افکار و در دام اخبار نیفتید. اگر امروز دوباره همچنان منتظر این هستین که ترامپ حمله بکنه، اگر منتظر اون جمله هستین که هم شاهزاده گفت هم خیلی دیگه که میگفت کمک در راهه، من میخوام به همتون بگم که خود شما کمک هستین. همه ما جزئی از این کمک هستیم. کمک فقط شامل حمله نظامی آمریکا و ارتش آمریکا و فرمان ترامپ نیست. تک تک انسان‌هایی که در سرتاسر ایران و در سرتاسر جهان خودشون رو همراه با آزادی میدونن قسمتی از کمک هستن و تنها نکته مهم اینه که این مسیر پایدار باشه.
Okay. I'm just going to translate this and share it with you. I don't know, there's someone in Armin's chat who's like, please speak English. Potipto is in Iran. That's why he's speaking in Persian and we're translating. So that's why he's speaking in Persian. So I mean, I guess that means you're new and you've just tuned into our channel now because Potipto's been a frequent guest and most people are pretty patient with him speaking Persian and then me translating to English. But welcome. Thank you for joining our live stream. And yes, the reason that Potipto's speaking in Persian is because he's in Iran. Okay. But like I said, guys, he does, of course, he speaks, reads, and writes English perfectly fine. But of course, it's just more comfortable to convey his thoughts in Persian. Okay.
English translation. Clear, structured, and faithful. Open quote. The most important thing is the tone that at times becomes very serious and deliberate. Here's what happened. The 18th of day arrived. We are now exactly 30 days after that call.
Wait, so I just want to add something. So I asked Patipto what he thinks of the voice, and so the first sentence here, that's about the voice, and he said the most important thing is the tone. It's very serious and deliberate, and so he appreciates the emphasis and the tone of the voice.
English translation, clear, structured, and faithful. Open quote. The most important thing is the tone that at times becomes very serious and deliberate. Here's what happened. The 18th of day arrived. We are now exactly 30 days after that call, a day after which many people never saw another sunrise, whether within the body of the regime or among the brave individuals who sacrificed their lives in the streets. For that reason, I believe this day has become eternal in Iran's history, but we need to examine the days before and after it together. 2 or 3 days before the prince issued the call, something changed for the first time. A sense of collective empathy emerged among Iranians. I personally heard it from many people. To put it simply, people were saying, "Thank God, finally someone has taken responsibility for us." That was a turning point in Iran's national revolution. For the first time, people felt that someone would genuinely be their voice. Someone they could lean on. Someone whose background they did not have to question. Where he came from, what his intentions were, what hidden agenda he might have. That was the power Prince Reza Pahlavi gave to the people. And it created a new culture among them after that date. The impact of it was visible to everyone. Then the 18th of day came, the 19th came, and in the days that followed, the internet was cut off, and a wave of brutal slaughter unfolded in Iran and in the streets of Tehran, so widespread and severe that even today we still do not know the full number of those killed. Even inside Iran, we are still trying to identify names. So what is the point of all this? Why am I saying this? Because today, as we speak, one group says 20,000 were killed. State television says no, it was 3,000. Others say 60,000. Others say only 300. Some claim they were killed by the regime's own forces and mercenaries. The regime claims that people came out by the prince's command, so he is responsible. Even worse, there are individuals outside Iran, people with platforms who call themselves activists and freedom fighters, who go from one microphone to another criticizing the prince. They ask, what happened to national cooperation? What happened to the promises? As if the Islamic Republic wasn't already killing people before that. As if people were not already dying under economic suffocation and stolen futures before they ever stepped into the streets. So I want you to open your eyes. Step outside the noise. Look at the flow of information from a third-person perspective. Ask yourself, which narrative aligns with the lived reality of the people? Which one echoes what people themselves are saying? And which one is trying, cleverly and quietly, to change the story, replacing clarity with confusion, replacing truth with sedation? It is our responsibility to be aware of this. And an even greater responsibility is this. We must not forget the faces, the voices, and the emotions of those who stood alongside the Islamic Republic in this path. They do not get to mock the memory of our martyrs, then quietly return to normal life claiming ignorance or regret. The curtain has fallen. Everything is transparent now. There is no path back across the sea of blood that separates us from the regime. And to you, dear friends listening from all around the world, I have asked you many times not to fall into the trap of headlines and reactive news cycles. If you are still waiting for Trump to attack, if you are waiting for that sentence, help is on the way, that both the prince and others have mentioned, I want to tell you something clearly. You are the help. All of us are part of that help. Help does not mean only a US military strike or a presidential order. Every individual, inside Iran and across the world who stands for freedom, is part of that help. The only essential condition is that this path remains steady and sustained. Close quote.
Okay, let's continue. بفرمایید.
خب در بخش آخر میخوام بگم که خیلی مهمه که درگیر بازی اعداد و زمان و ارقام و اینجور چیزا نشید. وقتی شما میگین و رژیم میاد میگه که 3300 نفر بودن که کشته شدن. یعنی انقدر راحته که تکرار میکنه مثلا 3300 تا جان بیارزش بودن، یا مثلا اگر 3 تا بودن مثلا میتونست رژیم بگه خب 3 نفر فقط کشته شدن. یک نفر کشته شدن برای ما کافی بود تا پرونده این رژیم رو ببندیم. پس لطفاً دنبال این نباشیم که حالا خب مثلا 100,000 نفر کشته شدن، 50,000 نفر کشته شدن، اینقدر آدم میخوان اعدام بشن که از اون ور جهان بخواد به عددهای بیشتری ریاکشن نشون بده و بخوایم مثلا بگیم خب خیلی اتفاق بدی داره میفته. اتفاق افتاده. مهمترین مسئله‌ای که الان مونده عملی که ما را همراه میکنه و همجهت میکنه زیر در واقع فرمان شاهزاده، زیر چتر و پرچم شیر و خورشید، نه تنها به سمت یک ایران آزاد آباد بریم، بلکه به سمت یک دنیایی بریم که خاورمیانه در اونجا مرکز صلح، ایران مرکز شکوفایی و سرمایه‌گذاریه. باید درک بکنید که وقتی شاهزاده ما رو داره همجهت میکنه، وقتی شاهزاده میاد در ایران به مردم میگه که من فراخوان دادم و شما رو به خیابون دعوت کردم، اما حالا توی این فازی که هستیم جای دنیا داره فراخوان میده. مونیخ خیلی شهر مهمیه، واشنگتن خیلی شهر مهمیه. من از کسایی که میشناسم، دوستایی که خبر میگیرم اطراف دنیا، مثلا توی آلمان، اینا دارن به من میگن که اینجا ما خودمونم شگفت زده هستیم. خود آلمانی ها دنبال اینن که بیان همراه ما بشن. خود از شهرهای خیلی دور، از بخشای خیلی دور توی آلمان من میشنوم دوستان تعریف میکنن که مثلا همسایه های آلمانی زبانشون دنبال اینن که بیان همراه مردم باشن و حمایت مردم ایران رو به دنیا نشون بدن. خب این نشون میده که ما انقلابمون فقط یه انقلاب ملی نیست، این یه انقلاب جهانی، پیام صلح داره و هدف بازسازی و ساختن یه آینده زیباست. پس خلاصه حرفم، پیام مهم و آخر حرفم اینه که اون کسی که باید نگران این باشه که امشب حمله میکنن یا فردا، اون کسی که باید نگران این باشه که مذاکره میکنن یا نه، شخص خامنه‌ای و اطرافیانشن. مزدورایی هن که آخرشون به رژیم وصل و مجبورن که از شوگرددیشون خامنه‌ای هر روز پول تو جیبی بگیرن. بذارین نگرانی برای اونا باشه. ما مسیر خیلی بلندی پیش رو داریم. ما هزاران جاویدنام دادیم، هزاران نفر جونشون رو فدا کردن که بتونیم در کنار هم آینده رو بسازیم و به آینده رو داشته باشیم. هر یک نفری که از ما رفت، هر یک نفری که از ما کشته شد، به جاش هزاران و صدها هزار نفر باید زندگی بکنه. به جاش ایران باید جاویدانه بشه. به جاش باید صلح جایگزین گلوله بشه. پس در نظر داشته باشید این بازیه، این دومز گیم، این بازیه در واقع اخبار این که امشب میزنن اگه نزنن نمیدونم انقلاب تموم شد و نمیدونم اینجور اتفاقا، فقط برای اینه که اولا یه دلداری و دلخوشی بده به طرفدارای رژیم در داخل و خارج ایران که همتون هم میدونید آدم‌های زیادی هستن، و دوما بیاد ذهن پویا و خلاق و کاربردی تمام آدم‌های میهم پرست و همراه ما رو از بین ببره و درگیر این بکنه که خب حالا امشب و فردا چه کنیم. پیام من به همتون اینه که دوست عزیز من، امشب و فردا رو بذارید برای جمهوری اسلامی به فکر 1 ماه دیگه، 1 هفته دیگه، 1 سال دیگه و 10 سال دیگه باشین. ما مسیر خیلی بلندی داریم و تنها کسی که قراره تو این شبا بمونه و هیچ وقت آینده رو باهاش به اشتراک نذاریم خامنه‌ای و رژیمش. ما مردمی هستیم که در آینده کارهای بسیار زیادی داریم. پس بهتره که از همین امروز به جای اینکه وقتمون رو تلف پروپاگاندا و اخبار و اتلاف انرژیایی که از سمت رژیم میاد اول و آخرش بکنیم، وقتمون رو صرف برنامه ریزی بکنیم، وقتمون رو صرف همراهی بکنیم، وقتمون رو صرف آبادی و آزادی ایرانمون در روزها و ماهها و سالهای آینده بکنیم. و در آخر چیزی که ما همیشه توی حرکتمون کم داشتیم، اون آدم خیرخواه و اون مغز متفکر و اون چیزی که همیشه داشتن سعی میکردن با 1000 تا نامسئله جایگزینش بکنن، الان کنار ماست. شاهزاده رضا پهلوی فقط یک اسم نیست، فقط یک نفر نیست. شاهزاده یک تاریخچه است از عملگرایی، شاهزاده یک تاریخچه است از افتخار و میهن پرستی و از همه مهمتر شاهزاده یک تاریخچه است از رفتار درست و برنامه‌های درست. وقتی ما شاهزاده رو کنار خودمون داریم، به برنامه‌هاش باور داریم و مطمئنیم قرار گرفتن مهره شاهزاده توی خونه شاه و برگشتنش به نقطه اصلی باعث میشه نه تنها ایران بلکه دنیا نفس بکشه. پاینده ایران جاوید شاه.
پاینده ایران جاوید شاه. Okay, I'm going to translate this as well for you guys so you can follow along. It's still translating. Give me one moment. Okay, here we go.
English translation. Clear, structured, faithful. Open quote. In this final section, I want to say something very important. We must not get trapped in games of numbers, timelines, and statistics. When the regime says 30,300 people were killed, do you realize what that means? It means they can casually repeat that number, as if 30,300 lives were insignificant. And if it had been 3 people, they would have said only 3. One person being killed was enough for us to close the case on this regime. So please, let's not obsess over whether it was 100,000, 50,000, or 3,000. Let's not wait for higher numbers to shock the world into reacting. The tragedy has already happened. The crime has already been committed. What remains now is action. Action that unites us. Action that aligns us under the Prince's leadership, under the Lion and Sun flag. Not only toward a free and prosperous Iran, but toward a world where the Middle East becomes a center of peace and Iran becomes a center of growth and investment. You must understand, when the Prince aligns us, when he calls on the people of Iran to come into the streets, and now when he calls on cities around the world, Munich, Washington, and other key places, it matters. I hear from friends in Germany that even Germans themselves are eager to stand with us. In cities far away, even German-speaking neighbors are asking how they can support the Iranian people. This shows that our revolution is not just a civil movement. It carries a global message. It carries a message of peace and the building of a better future. My final message is this. The one who should be worried about whether an attack happens tonight or tomorrow, or whether negotiations resume, is Khamenei and his circle, the beneficiaries of this regime, those whose livelihoods are tied to it. Let them worry. We have a long road ahead. Thousands have given their lives so that we can build that future together. For every one of us who was killed, thousands more must live. Iran must endure. Peace must replace bullets. So understand this. The nightly speculation, will they strike tonight? Will they not? Is the revolution over? It is just noise. It is designed first to comfort regime supporters inside and outside Iran, and second to distract and exhaust patriotic minds by trapping them in short-term thinking. My message to you is this. Leave tonight and tomorrow to the regime. We must think about 1 month from now, 1 year from now, 10 years from now. We have a long path, and the only ones who may not share in the future are Khamenei and his regime. We are a people who have much work to do in that future. So instead of wasting our energy on propaganda cycles and reactive headlines, let's dedicate our time to planning, to unity, and to building a free and flourishing Iran in the years ahead. And finally, something we were always missing in past movements, the benevolent strategist, the unifying mind, the figure they tried to replace with distractions and false alternatives, is now beside us. Prince Reza Pahlavi is not just a name. He is not just a person. He represents a history of action, of patriotism, of dignity, and above all, of responsible leadership and structured planning. When we stand beside the Prince, believe in his plans, and understand that his return to the center of the national movement restores balance, not only Iran, but the world itself can breathe. May Iran's future be eternal. Close quote.
Potipto also said Javid Shah, but ChatGPT didn't translate that for some reason. So Javid Shah means long live the king. Potipto, thank you so much for your thoughts and your comments. So incredibly important and really, really insightful. And I think you've given all of us, not just Iranians, but all of our non-Iranian supporters, a lot of food for thought. I wish that I could keep the conversation going longer, but I do have to start get ready. And so what I'm going to do, guys, for the next half hour, while I'm getting ready and before I leave the house, 15 minutes to 20 minutes, I'm just going to play some footage of the rallies and demonstrations that are happening today across the world. But before I do that, Potipto, do you have any final thoughts or comments before I start ending the live stream?
نه، من خیلی مشخص در واقع با تشکر از شما حرفامو زدم و خیلی خوشحالم که همه چیز به اندازه بود. مزاحم برنامه شما نخواهیم شد.
ببین، شما هیچ وقت مزاحم نیستین. واقعا من باید عذرخواهی بکنم که امروز دارم برنامه رو زود تموم میکنم. اگه میتونستم بمونم میمونم. Guys, I'm not going on a date. And the next person who says I'm going on a date, I'm banning you. It's not a date. It's just I'm going to visit family. I'm going to visit family. So it's not a date. Don't spread rumors about me. All right, Potipto says, thank you very much. He's happy to be here. و نه ببین هیچ وقت مزاحم نیستین. این برنامه اصلا در اختیار شماست. حالا سعی میکنم که خب I'll try to have less personal events. I guess I don't know, but I do apologize because I know Saturday's a big day. But guys, okay, so for people asking, Khwastegari, okay, you're lucky that you're on X, because I don't have the ban feature on the chat here. I can only ban you if I log into X and do that there. So there you go. No, guys, it's just a family gathering. Just a family gathering, small family gathering. I don't have a social life, so you don't have to worry about that. No social life, no dates for me. My focus is on Iran. But for those asking if I will come back, we'll see. So depending on how long my event goes, if I come back in time, then who knows? Maybe I will start a live stream in the evening, because there is a lot of news and I do want to play some footage and live streams for you guys from rallies happening today as well. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Potipto, سپاس فراوان از شما. I hope that we can talk again soon. And, please be safe. And like I said, you're always welcome here on Iran Revolution Live. We always love hearing from you, especially now that we have your updated British voice, which makes it, I think people appreciate that. So, okay, guys, I'm going to end, before I go to some live stream footage, I'm going to share a new rap song with you guys. And this one's in English. So this is from one of my friends. His name is Shaheen. He's an Iranian rapper in the LA area. And this rap song is in English. So here you go.
Only one solution, the Ayatollahs are done. It's a revolution, we killing mullahs for fun. Take the cops out, from the top down. Overthrow the tyrant, they run into Moscow. Freedom for the people, because now we're occupied. It's 2026 and 40,000 people died. And no one gives a fuck, it's like they gave their evil eye. The genocide of Persia, Khamenei legalized. Murdered all our brothers, they say we're breaking the law. Pellet in her eyes and a metal plate in her jaw. Motherfuck the system, they're lying, claiming the law. I do it for the heritage in the name of the Shah. Long live the Pahlavi kings and Savat. Death to the savage regime and Sahak. Now we are grabbing the keys of the locks. Dance around after Basijis are shot. They don't love me, huh? Long live Iran, say Javi Shah. Javi Shah. They don't love me, huh? Long live Iran, say Javi Shah. Javi Shah. They don't love me, huh? Long live Iran, say Javi Shah. Javi Shah. They don't love me, huh? Long live Iran, say Javi Shah. Persian Gulf to the Caspian Sea. doing everything these bastards achieve. All the evil that we have to defeat. Fuck the Ayatollahs even after we're free. I made a promise to my people that I'll never stop. This republic is a bubble, and now I'm watching it pop. See a mullah talking, we hit them up like we're Pac. It's 2026 and we lighten up all the cops. So fuck the turban on your head, and the sermon that you preach, and the circus that you led, and the verses that you teach. While we're searching for the dead, ain't no religion of peace when you murdered us instead. So stick it up your ass like Muammar Gaddafi. Praise the motherland like the Rastafari. Speaking for the culture and you're not gonna stop me. 47 years and now we got you Nazis. They don't love me, huh? Long live Iran, say Javisha, Javisha. They don't love me, huh? Long live Iran, say Javisha, Javisha. They don't love me, huh? Long live Iran, say Javisha, Javisha. They don't love me, huh? Long live Iran, say Javisha, Javisha.
Right, guys, I'm just bringing it up. One moment. Okay. I hope you guys like that song. All right, let's share some footage here. All right, see you guys later.